Once upon a time, there was a forest where only animals lived and no humans ever entered. Although they were all different from each other, all the animals lived in peace. They all had different characteristics. For example, the monkey was the naughty one, the chipmunk was the wuss, the lion was the brave, the gazelle was the fast, the turtle was the slow, the fox was the cheeky one, and the bees were the hard-working ones. The only one that no animal in the forest could get along with was the arrogant crow. The crow did not like to share his food. Sometimes he even stole food from the other animals and flew away. All the animals were talking about this selfish crow and that he needed to be taught a lesson. Being the cheekiest and the smartest one, the fox made the first comment.
You guys leave it up to me. I will do such a trick on that selfish crow, he won't be able to be an arrogant snob anymore.
One day, the crow went into the city to look for food, and he returned to the forest with a big chunk of cheese in his mouth and rested on a branch. Watching from afar, the fox decided to make a move to take the cheese out of the crow's mouth. The fox came next to the tree on which the crow was resting. At that moment, the crow was picking on the cheese that he put on the branch.
Hi there, my friend. What is it that you're eating? I've never seen something like that. They call it cheese. The humans eat this. I'm curious about its taste. Would you share some with me? No way. Do you know how far I had to fly to get this cheese? So what? One day I will share my food with you and we'll be even. And why would I care about your filthy food? This cheese is very special. You can find it anytime you want.
Whatever he said, the fox could not convince the crow to share his food. The fox was smart, but the crow was just as smart. So this time the fox made another plan.
Okay, have your cheese. I don't want it. But at least let me come next to you and have a look at this very special cheese that you don't want to share.
When the fox started to climb up the tree, the crow took the cheese in a panic and flew to another branch. This time, the fox went under the other tree where the crow was, but the crow had no intention to share his food. The fox gave it a little thought and came up with another plan.
What are the most important flaws of the crow? He's self-conscious and arrogant. Maybe I should take advantage of these to get that food from him. Hey, my friend, do you know why I really came down here?
To prevent losing the cheese in his mouth, he asked without opening up his beak.
What? I have heard that you have the most beautiful voice in the forest, and apparently when you sing, all animals watching get mesmerized.
When the crow heard this, he fluffed his feathers and started to look very sure of himself.
Sing me a song so that I can hear the magnificent voice of yours and tell about it to my friends.
The fox finally found the crow's weakest points. Finally, when the self-loving crow opened his mouth, the cheese in his mouth fell down, and of course the fox was right there to catch it. The crow was stunned, motionless.
Oh, look at this now. Your precious cheese just fell into my mouth, and man, it tastes good.
Due to his arrogance and self-consciousness, the crow lost his food to the fox.
So, my friend, what did we learn? You should not think of yourself much bigger than you actually are. You shouldn't believe everything you hear. You shouldn't go around saying I'm the best. And don't forget, there are always greater minds.
After he finished his words, the fox walked away and was now lost in the deep forest. From that day on, the crow gave up being arrogant and selfish. He always had good relations with all the other animals and always shared his food. Once upon a time, there lived a selfish and shifty fox in the forest. Because he was always after something shifty, none of the animals trusted this fox. Nobody made friends with him. After a while, having no friends, the fox moved to a cave in the mountain next to the forest. One day, flying from the cold parts of the world, a stork came by. The fox was very happy that he finally found a friend. He immediately went next to the stork.
Welcome, my dear stork. Do you want to be friends?
Sure, but you're the shifty fox. How can I trust you?
Of course you can. I have no friends here, but I think that we can be best friends.
After a short while, bored of eating alone, the fox invited his new neighbor stork to dinner. Happy about this invitation, the stork went joyfully to the fox's house. The soup that the fox had prepared smelled delicious. Preparing the table, the fox poured the soup in large bowls. The stork sat down on the table and the fox sat right across her.
Bon appetit. I hope you like my soup.
The fox was enjoying his soup from the bowl, but the stork could not figure out how to eat it from this large bowl. Although she could put her beak into the bowl, she could only get 1 or 2 pieces of rice. At the time the stork had only a couple of rice pieces, the fox had finished his meal. Thinking that the fox was very unthoughtful, the stork was very upset with him. But because she was the guest, she stayed quiet. I should be going, my friend. Thank you for dinner.
But you haven't even finished. Didn't you like it? Never mind. I'll eat yours too.
As the stork was leaving, the fox had already begun to eat the stork's soup. The stork sadly went home. She could not sleep all night because she was still hungry and very mad at her friend. We are 2 different animals. The fox needs to understand and accept this. But how? After putting some thought into it, the stork had an idea. She was going to teach the fox a good lesson. In the morning, she approached her friend with great excitement and invited him to dinner. The fox, of course, was very happy for his invitation.
Thank you very much, neighbor. I'm so glad we're friends.
After preparing the food, the stork selected a long and narrow bottle for herself and for her friend, the fox. The stork prepared rice for her friend, and then she set up the table. She also put the water into a narrow and long bottle. After a short while, the fox arrived.
I'm very hungry, my friend. Let's sit and start eating.
The 2 friends sat down at the table. Well, bon appetit! The fox tried to eat from the narrow bottle in front of him, but couldn't. He couldn't even drink the water. The stork, on the other hand, could easily enjoy her food with her long beak. While the fox was trying to use the fork to get some rice, the stork finished all her food. And seeing how stunned the fox was, she asked, my dear friend, you're not eating. Didn't you like it?
If I could eat it, maybe I would. This bottle is not for me. With your long beak, you can easily get your food, but with my mouth, I can't.
The stork was expecting this answer. Oh, my dear friend, do you remember that I left hungry after your dinner the other night because you had used bowls on the table which weren't suitable for me? Suddenly, the fox realized his mistake. He was really sad that he put those large bowls in front of his friend, the stork.
I'm really sorry, my friend. I could not think that you would not be able to eat from those bowls.
It's okay, dear fox. At least now you understand me. We have to learn to respect each other's differences. After this, the stork brought a large plate from which the fox could eat easily and put his food on it. The fox enjoyed finishing his food. When it was time to leave, the fox had an idea.
Hey, stork, let me take one of your bottles home, so when you come to eat with me, you can eat your food easily from that narrow bottle.
They don't call you the shifty fox for no reason. If you use your mind and shiftiness for good things like this, you and your friends will always be much happier. The fox and the stork began laughing joyfully. Months had passed. Before leaving to fly to warmer climates, the stork came to say goodbye to her neighbour, the fox. Being left alone, the fox returned to the forest. But he never forgot the stork's words. After that, he was never selfish and he became very good friends with all the other animals.